Happy Friday, Pat. Welcome to another edition.
Rick, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to our
Traveling
millions.
Road. Yes, millions and millions. This is a traveling roadshow edition. I am up in Flagstaff, escaping the heat. Broker might jump in. Jessica here in a few minutes. We'll see. See who's in their car. So drove up here yesterday, and I'm driving up Interstate 17, and I see this huge column of smoke, and I'm thinking, wait, she's right there. Hold on. Here's my evil broker.
Carry on.
Welcome.
What is your story?
Well, so I drove up yesterday, and I could see this huge column of smoke, and I'm thinking, man, that's right where I'm going. There's a brand new RV park up here about 8 miles west of Flagstaff, and lo and behold, we get up here, and what do I see? It was about 200 acres, and they issued us what they call a set order, which means, well, you might want to pack up in case we tell you to evacuate, but which I thought there's no way it was going to happen because it was about 3-4 miles from us. You still had to burn over Interstate 40, and not to mention the wind would have had to blow to the west, cross the freeway, and then turn around and blow to the east. And so I figured the odds of having to evacuate were pretty slim. Hello, Quentin. So I woke up this morning and it was just hazy as all get out. So, but the fire started because I made a really good steak. So
yeah, look like you're overcooking your steak there with that fire.
Yeah, you know what I do to steaks, Pat. So I saw the jobs report come out today. We're going to touch on it in a couple of minutes, and it keeps hitting me in the back of the head here. The marry the house, date the rate that came out about 1.5 years ago, and like I said last week, those people are now in marriage counseling. But if there was ever a time for you to come out with more dating analogies, today's the day, because there's just the hopes of refinancing in a year was more of a hope than it was a reality. And with the jobs report coming out today, there just doesn't seem to be much of an indication that rates are going to have any kind of dip even this summer. And our inventory is kind of hanging steady. In fact, our number of available listings today on Friday are exactly the same as they were last Friday. So there's nothing earth-shattering going on in our market. I did add 2019 in here to show you that we're back at pre-pandemic levels here before the before it clamped down and everything. So that's where we're at. And the Property Market Index is showing Chandler continuing to slide. Kind of surprising. Fountain Hill's creeping up on him. But even with all that, you got 11 out of the 17 cities still considered in a seller's market. So it's not ugly out there. It's just really different. And number of price changes, though, they're starting to show up a little bit more, not much. We're hanging around 2,100, and these are price cuts. People that said, I think I can get this. Oops, I can't. So they're cutting the prices. Jessica, I think this will eventually show up if we stay right where we're at now in lower sales price per square foot by a smidgen by the middle or end of the summer. What do you think?
I'm going to agree with that. I feel like there's a lot of stale properties, but anything that kind of new hits the market or a change that happens, those they're gone. All the data in little areas where I've got buyers looking in certain zip codes, on a weekly basis, there's stuff disappearing. There's still kind of the same static properties that aren't changing or doing anything. So I agree with that completely.
Yeah, they're also
we're going to see that reflection.
New home market share peaked around 28% in December, and it's fallen back to 20% now. And prices were slightly weaker in May. And so not only are new home sales still kind of declining in the resale market, finally starting to happen in the new homes market. So that's kind of a new development. But then there's this, Pat, kind of in your wheelhouse, that this is equity withdrawals on mortgage properties. There's a whole lot of that going on. People are not using their homes as an ATM this time.
No.
Like they did back here, 2007. So, but
I mean, the only ones that are really doing it are maybe I'm seeing a lot of mortgage companies are trying to tell people about debt consolidation. People are at 3%, they get 7%. You consolidate and get a blended rate that might be in the sixes. But I mean, it seems to me the only ones that are really doing the cash out refinances are the one that might have really ran up some hard credit card debt that are getting squeezed by this economy. But the most people are just sitting tight. They're not. I mean, a lot of companies are trying to encourage people to do HELOCs so they can keep their customer. But in only rare instances. I mean, I would have to. I'm not encouraging anybody if they call and say I want to do debt consolidation. You really have to run the numbers and see if it's going to help them materially. And a lot. Some mortgage brokers are probably just taking a deal if they can get a deal, but that's not my modus operandi. I mean, you really have to run the numbers, and people have got to be in a tough situation to do that.
Yeah, it makes sense if you have run up a lot of other debt, but there may be other ways to do it. Quentin here is asking if we can show the Cromford Market Index over time. And let me get rid of 20. So I don't want to make this chart too busy, but let's go back to 2015, for example. And here was the market index up here. That's active listings. Forgive me. I'm totally in the wrong number. Let me find that. Well, I'm going to dig for that while you go over what we see in some of the mortgage data today, Pat.
All right. My time to shine, huh? Yeah. I mean, today, the 5.5 coupon. I mean, the market today, just to give you an idea, this is, can you blow that up? This was today's MBS 5.5 coupon. We saw a drop right away when the market opened up with the jobs report. It came in at 200. I think it was 280, 275 versus 180. But there's two different surveys. There's a household survey and the business survey. So you get obviously a different set of numbers. And the problem is now, I think the last years when these numbers do come out, you see a reaction, but then you saw stabilization through the day. The 5.5 coupon was down 60 basis points, which the pricing sucked. Obviously, it got hurt today, but the CPI numbers are coming out Tuesday. So once again, the market's been sitting on the week by week numbers. I mean, if you stretch this out, go back over the last 3 months. I mean, we're here. We're not as bad as we were. We're even better than we were last week. So the market took a hit today, but who's to say that it's not going to come back next week? And I was talking to one of our I sat down with one of our YouTube guys that I worked with here recently, Ryan. Great guy, very insightful, really just a super nice guy. But he kind of made the point to me, which I agree with, is that it seems like people are getting this market seems like it's normalizing in the 6.5 to 7% range. So I think you're seeing the subset of people that are out there like, okay, 6.5, 7%. Because when you did have that run, as I've stated many times, that run from 3 to 7 just shocked the living heck out of everybody. But now people are just kind of it's more of a normalized market in terms of rates, and people aren't shocked, and it goes back to the market too. It's shocked initially, but we always see some stabilization in the short term with these rates and the market information. But next week we got the CPI. I mean, like you said, you look back this last year, this is where mortgage prices, the 5.5 coupons been. We've been kind of stuck in this channel right in here since about January, February, and I don't see anything changing. I think my gut from a psychology standpoint is obviously the Feds. I don't see a cut. There might if I was a guess, just an educated guess, we might see a cut maybe in November after the election. Because if they do it too soon, it's going to look too political.
Well, but even if they cut now, it's not going to move the bar much. I mean, let's put this political argument right out front here for a moment. They're going to cut rates so they can spur the market for the election. Well, you better hurry. It's June.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for money to circulate to the economy. So if you truly wanted to promote the current, administration with a rate cut, we would have to be looking in the rearview mirror to see that. And also, we've shared it on this show historically. That's never happened. They don't tend to do that. They have a mandate. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Central banks, they have a political slant. Some like Republicans, some like the Democrats. And you can bet that there's phone calls made that said, "You're killing me. Can you lower rates? Or inflation is too high. Can you raise rates?" Yeah. And I think the other argument can be made outside of housing that says, well, if they really wanted to help the administration currently to kick inflation, they would raise rates. Yep. So, I mean, so I think politically that argument is, I think it's a moot point. I think it's going to go. To Quentin here, he asked us about Cromford Market Index historically. This blue line is balanced market. We've been above balanced market way longer than we were in a buyer's market. And the buyer's market only happened here after the big crash of 2008. We've come close a couple times, 2022 maybe, just for like a few weeks. And then, but that's it historically. You can see the silly season right here that things were moving. David asked the question here. And welcome, David. Seeing a lot more properties under 500,000 hit the market compared to the last month or two. Are you seeing that, Jessica? Are you seeing that?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of, and I don't want to say it's becoming affordable, but it makes sense. The affordability of the Apache Junction area is all well below even 450. All the outskirts, small, even within the city, I've got condos below. You couldn't find anything below $500,000 in 2022. It was almost impossible, and there's lots of options right now.
When you talk to these people, Jessica, are you seeing that is it kind of too that the market from an interest rate standpoint is like just referring to a couple minutes ago? Seems like it's more normalized now, and people are kind of used to this market right now. I mean,
yes and no. There's still plenty that are so payment sensitive and have expectations and waiting for that rate to go down. And I know I'm coaching. I don't think it's going down. I mean, let's take today's scenario as the perfect example. Let's say it never goes down. Here's what you can afford. Do you want to own a home? Can you afford a home, right?
Yeah.
There's some anecdotal evidence behind that too as well, Pat, and that is that to Jessica's point, they're waiting for the payment. So there's a lot of people just they can't afford it, so they're done. I mean, they're out. They may jump in next year or the year after, who knows? But in YouTube world, we get to look at our viewers and see what the average age is of our viewers. And I looked at our viewers, and the average age for us right now, the majority is over 55. And I went and looked at another YouTube group, and they were asking the same question, saying, why did my audience change so much? It's the majority of my audience now is over 55. And one of the guys said, well, because I think below the ones like 25 and above have checked out. They're just done. And it's showing up in the YouTube data, interestingly enough. And I love my over 55 group, by the way. So I did a video last week, about a day ago, called Nobody Wants My Stuff, talking about, your aging parents. They've got all this stuff, this furniture in their house, and when they pass on, the kids don't want it. I don't want it. And for baby boomers, you need to prepare. Your kids are probably not going to want your furniture and your stuff. And must have hit a nerve, because it's the highest ranking video I've had since I've come out. 37,000 views. Quentin, that's me. I'm waiting for the payment. Got $50K to put down. I don't want a payment more than $2,500 a month. Leaves me with very few options in Tempe. Yeah, you've done an excellent job raising the money. I hear that all the time. I have the money. I'm ready. I just can't write the monthly check.
I think too. I mean, it's not just rates and property values, but I think just the overall economy. I mean, I went to the grocery store last night. I went up to help my mom since she broke her hip. I went up trying to be a good son, and I went up and she just came home from short-term rehab. So I went to get her situated with her hip and walking around the house, and I went to the grocery store. And she said she needed milk and toilet paper and a few other things. It was $40. I looked at the bag. I'm like, I got nothing here for $40.
Oh, it's staggering.
I mean,
so that just gets piled on to your mortgage payment.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think if something does loosen up here, if they can somehow get this, I mean, but it's going to take, inflation's been embedded for a while. It's going to be embedded for a lot longer than people think. The transitory thing went out the door a long time ago, but it's the combination of everything, the food, the gas, the home insurance. If you didn't have that pressure, I think people could handle the rates and a lot better, because once again, it's been, repeated ad nauseum. But their average family of four, probably Jessica, you got a family, 5? What would you say your average, if you were just to take a guesstimate of in the last year and a half, I'd say a family of 4 or 5, their average just crap that they buy has gone up an average of maybe $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. Just, I'm guessing.
I was going to say too much. My immediate answer is too much. It's too much. But yeah, I would say almost double. I used to go to Costco and hated the trip because I'd spend $100, and it's $300 every time I walk through the door.
Yeah. So
you know what? And food prices, they don't tend to come back down very quickly, if at all. I remember I used to deliver price increases to buyers, and they go, and when the price of flour comes down, how come you never come in and give us a price reduction? So it takes a long time to come down, especially in the grocery business, because your suppliers raise their costs because of increased labor, increased ingredients, increase in transportation. The stores had the same problem. So, those things don't really roll back down. It's going to take time.
What's the
so
reverberation?
I think when we look at these rates and waiting for people to adjust, it could be a couple of years.
Yep. It's unfortunate, but it's just the reality that we're in. And I mean, I think people that there's this, it's bifurcating this market as far as people that can buy, want to buy, or, need to buy. And that's
what we're seeing.
Yeah.
I want to remind people too, when you go to our website here, that up on the top where it says download the recent Arizona real estate market report, that I'll probably have the updated one up there next week from Tom Ruff, who puts it together for us in Arizona with the MLS. It's called Estat. And you can go to our website, rickhelps.com, and you can download that report. You don't have to sign up for anything. You won't end up on an email list. I won't call you. Pat might, but I won't. So anyway, guys, I am on the road. I'm going to cut this a little bit short. I'm coming back Sunday morning, but it's only 86 up here tonight. So I'll take it.
All right.
So thanks, guys. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Take care.
All right, guys. See you, Josh.
Bye, guys.